So what is freeGOD, and what do they believe? I affectionately refer to freeGOD as the open source of religions, as I feel it has components from many belief systems, based in respect for nature, from many past and present societies. The belief in freeGOD is basically the belief in a single force of power that created everything in the universe but not view this event as the work of a humanoid, godlike figure. This force put forth the process that allowed you to be, but is not directing your life or wanting certain behaviors from you on a daily basis. There is not a dark power looking to punish you in the afterlife either if you fail to perform these daily rituals. Unlike many of the religions that only see earth and man as the primary concern of God, freeGOD is based on the existence of the whole universe, including every living organism, no matter how small, as a part of the creation. It realizes the world of microscopic organisms is as important to us as the galaxies themselves, and they are the keys to not only a much longer lifespan for us, but eventually the ability to safely travel across space. We know that space is enormous, and we need more out of a human's lifetime in order to achieve our goals. So if it is our ability to sleep through the journey, we break the speed limit, or we do actually find wormholes. We need to educate ourselves to get past the many barriers between us now and a civilization able to conquer the challenges of traveling and living in space. I believe this knowledge is in nature itself, and we just need to get the right civilization ambitions to work together in making the discoveries it will take to accomplish this. I just know that we are not that far from the ability for just an average citizen to be able to visit space. Then the door will be wide open for using the moon for habitation to start. This involves including every single human on the earth in education. The belief is that if we can come to learn and understand the smallest things in existence, that will help us evolve to travel and experience the enormity of the rest of the universe. If the universe didn't have life forms, what would its purpose be? Look how we evolved to safely over time travel the seas, then the sky. We will eventually learn the ultimate form of travel between worlds. I know that some will say we were not meant to travel in space, but they would have been the ones saying man was not meant to fly, which we do fairly safely now. We are so close to space now, and we don't even realize we're already traveling, where if we opened a window, we would be dead in minutes. If you think about it, we can travel and exist in space easier and safer than we can travel the bottom of our oceans. We did it by observing nature, and I believe that the mysteries of microscopic organisms and elements of the universe will teach us what is needed to exist in space as well. We have shown our undeniable instincts to be an explorer species. Humans have traveled by foot to nearly every continent on the earth in our early history. This fact shows we were not stationary and always have had an instinctual urge to seek out new things and have a constant desire to know what's over the next horizon. The positive thing that I see is the current billionaire class are willing to fund the development of this new endeavor on our part, and that is a good start. Even though their motivation, I'm sure, is more financial, but you never know what can happen once eyes are open to new ideas of life. Wouldn't it be great to open these people's minds and ambitions to the mission of freeGOD and its support of all life, and seeking the answers out in the universe firsthand, to consider all Earth as our home base that should remain this rare gem and be protected for the preservation of life. They realize that the whole Earth and its people need to work together, because just one place left to suffer can hurt all of us. If we have a whole region of people scratching at the Earth for a few specks of gold that can only be realized by using and burning mercury is wrong for all of us. The river of mercury they create is flowing into our ocean waters and is a concern for us all across the world. This is just one of many examples. Putting your head in the sand is not going to work for our children. People are great at change, and innovators are usually the more open-minded to new ideas. We need to open the mind of these rich innovators to the fact they can't just help one spot on Earth because we're all connected. We must help the others so that their efforts at a minimal existence does not unintentionally poison us all. We know how to reclaim deserts and transform wastelands. We know how to grow food anywhere on Earth with proper technology and education. We need to seek out the people suffering in life to just survive and give them new opportunities to support themselves. That is all they're looking for, and don't want to unintentionally poison their own family. These people are not lazy or criminalists. They just lack the means to provide for their families any other way. We need to help them learn new ways to support themselves, and hopefully a new form of government that is not tied to supporting just the ruling class. No more kings, queens, dictators, or the kleptocracy-based systems of governing that plague certain countries of the world. We need to encourage the people to rise up and demand a government truly by all the people that a system like CFSV could bring them. We need to develop a new attitude of many in our civilization, from being content to sit and wait for a divine figure to emerge to one that seeks out the answers to some of our biggest questions like, are we alone? I know we have a history of harming nature by ignorance, greed, or our belief that we are semi-divine, but I believe that the majority will fight for what is right for the continuation of life over profit. There are always going to be those that want to abuse the earth for their own gain, and we need the power to stop them. Only through trusted education and the power of the majority of us that want to protect life will we be able to succeed. We need to find our purpose of supporting life, no matter where it is, even over financial success. We need to see that life is the most precious thing the free God made, and believe that we should do what we can to support and protect life so that it has a chance to flourish. We alive today will not be the ones traveling to other galaxies, but we can be the first step to making a society that sees that mission and puts forth the attitudes that it will take to allow that future to happen. If we don't stop the harm we're doing to the earth right now, we may be spending all our energy just trying to survive on a hostile planet. We need to realize that it will be hard to find another planet that will be as natural fit for us as the earth. It's our home world and should be treated as precious and non-replaceable in our lives. It's a shame that billions of us just see this life and earth as temporary before the next life. They are content to just sit and wait to be saved by a God when they should be doing everything they can to keep life and earth safe and without harm. You wouldn't spend 10 minutes in a closed room with a running fossil fuel motor, but for some reason, think that it's fine to let millions of motors across the earth bellow deadly fumes into the air just because you can't see or smell the various gases produced. Yet there you are, walking down the street, breathing in a mixture of these invisible gases on a daily basis, not realizing the slow damage it is causing to you and our planet. Many with no first-hand knowledge believe that it all magically disappears when outside, or that the trees will filter it for us. But they are wrong, and many of us know it. We can no longer allow greed and ignorance to destroy the world we have. The question is, do you really not believe, do you not care because it won't affect you in your lifetime, or it is somehow tied to how you make money? Do you have or want children? You know that climate change is real, and here right now, it's no longer a myth people can deny. When I was born, there was little talk about that because we were dealing with the Cold War and the ozone layer. We don't need to worry about climate change if we are all dying of nuclear fallout. It is okay to change your ways. You don't need permission from your friends. You can be the leader, and anyone that tells you that climate change is fake news, you know they're just showing their ignorance. They wish to think it's just part of the Earth's natural cycle, and nothing you do in your life is contributing to it. If you have children or grandchildren, look into their eyes and imagine the changing world they will live in 50 years. What could you do today to help improve their future lives? If I told you that if you switch to an EV and put some solar panels on your roof, it could potentially add years to their children's lives, would you do it? I know most parents look to leave behind what financial help they can in passing, but maybe that money would be better used in saving the planet that they will need to live on. Right now, no matter what you think or hear, electric power is the future. We now have the knowledge and ability to switch our world to non-polluting renewable energy sources. I know there is constant back-talk about batteries and their problems, but that is an ever-changing technology, and we know that new types of batteries are coming soon. I think we will need to open up the nuclear power plants again and get them contributing to the grids. Nuclear power is the best solution we have for now, and very well could be our primary power source in space when we are unable to use the sun. Our whole solar system is possible due to the nuclear reactions happening within our sun, so it's already part of a natural power process that freeGOD started for us. It's too bad that it took this long for us to learn how to use this unlimited power source for ourselves. Imagine if we were using the sun long before this to heat, cool, and power our modern civilization. We probably wouldn't be dealing with near the amount of problems we're having with greenhouse gases. Scientists are far more knowledgeable, and technology has improved in relation to nuclear power, as we seem to have little trouble powering our underwater subs for decades with them. So we know they can keep us relatively safe, but we will always have the waste to deal with. I believe that we will find a way in the future to deal with it, and we are capable of storing it safely till then. It's a shame that just because of nuclear bombs, we don't do more recycling in this industry like France. Can you imagine a world of a new belief system, removal of all dictators, to make all governments by the people, making possible the removal and destruction of all nuclear weapons? Once we remove a single person's drive for power and immortality through control of a population, we could see this someday. Societies as a whole don't generally war. A group or an individual's depravity is generally the inspiration. Because of our public distrust, greed, and the political pull the coal and fossil fuel industries have on our political leaders, we have abandoned one of the best energy-producing processes we have besides renewable. We can't encourage the use of EVs while not having the supporting grid infrastructure. You can help with that by not viewing going EV as just the vehicle itself, but a whole transportation system run from the sun, wind, or water. Instead of just buying the EV, you should do what you can to eventually install your own power collection system as well. Do you realize that currently between 8 to 10 panels on your roof could provide all the power you would need for daily commuting with an EV? That's right, no money or having to stop at a gas station. I'm not saying that for everyone's driving habits or needs, but for many of us, yes, that is not considering all the additional benefits, like maybe all your room lighting needs could be covered as well. We all know that people today can have a home filled with electric appliances and with the right size system, never pay an electric utility bill, and it's going to get better every year. Saving all life on Earth is just one of the goals of the freeGOD belief system. Changing your beliefs to be more about all life as a whole instead of just yourself. The animal kingdom on Earth is not here for you to dominate. You are not a god that directs the animal kingdom to your will. The animal kingdom on Earth is what's keeping you alive and supporting you. You need to see that every organism, from the large carnivores to the bacteria on the land or water, are vitally important, including even the ones that annoy you. A mosquito may be a harmful, even deadly pest, but it is a huge food source for many organisms and can even be a pollinator. Without the natural processes that nature provides, we would all perish, especially when it comes to the Earth's cleanup crews. You cannot live a life of abusing and not caring for creatures large and small and expect life to continue forever. Nature is a delicate balance that we know we have severely impacted in the last century or two. People think man has invented many of the things we use in our lives, but it actually came from nature. Belief in freeGOD acknowledges this and believes in correcting as much as possible, even at the sake of employment or profits. We can no longer afford to allow harmful activities to the planet just because of employment or our enjoyment. We need to find alternatives, and there will be new opportunities in those alternatives. A longtime fossil fuel furnace installer now is a solar panel or wind generator installer. Just as automated factories will become a workplace for people building and repairing robots, instead of the cars the robots are building. Even if we have automation, someone needs to make the robot. Someone else needs to train it, maintain it, repair it, and eventually replace and recycle it. Maybe you can't design a robotic machine, but you can learn to assemble one or break it up when it's time to rebirth it into something else. I know businesses want to sell you something now, and instead of maintaining it and supporting that repair, they just want you to throw it away and buy the next one. We need to end that practice and shame those companies into using a more earth and people-friendly business model. Tech jobs are not for everyone currently, but I believe a change in our education system could better prepare those people for the future jobs. Like I said in Do I Stand Alone, given the current path we are on, we will never be the society that will evolve to an earth first instead of me, profit, my religion or country first. We need to start thinking of the most needy of displaced workers from automation in a new way. It is way easier for a CEO to run a company based on just maximizing profit over one that has the skill and knowledge to run a company supporting all its employees with a livable wage, medical, and retirement safety? To lead the company that is earth first in relation to every aspect of the company and its products, and while doing all that successfully, still earn a profit. That is a great business leader that should be recognized as an example for all. We need to get away from a leader that milks every dollar from its customers, refuses to financially support the country it mainly resides in by not paying any taxes, and all the while producing products that have engineered planned obsolescence. I absolutely support the right to repair and see the horrible effects on people like our small farmers. Small local farms are the backbone of our civilization. We need to support these valuable people and not hinder their right to maintain and repair their own machinery. We now see how trusted companies in the past that prided itself on being an American producer of the best machines for labor now make their products unrepairable to the point of hiding repair manuals, limiting repair parts, or even putting the tools and information needed to fix your machine behind a paywall. They are making these vehicles and machineries into a forced relationship of you providing them with a profit stream, long after the sale, or for as long as you own that product. Your product needs to talk to home base, and in that, home base begins to dig into your pockets again. I absolutely respect the new technologies, but can you please not have to look in every crack and crevice to make even more money from your customers? New technology will probably need updates and alike, but this does not always have to be a profit builder, but rather a relationship builder. It's like some business leaders forgot how to build brand loyalty, or just don't care anymore. You're making money and improving lives. Hopefully, maybe that could fuel your ambitions a bit more than maximum profits. The sad thing is that our past and current religious leaders do not respect the earth or see it as our permanent home. They instead see it and all its life forms as a gift to man, and we are meant to rule it to our wills. They wish you to do nothing but pray and suffer in this life. Support them and their needs, only then to be rewarded for it in the next life. Faith and belief should have never been made into a business. We have seen in past religions that it was said that suffering in life was the cost of salvation. I can see why, because the system you are going to for help and answers is dependent on you all supporting them. They don't want to be supported minimally, but with huge ornate structures. Kings and queens building basically religious palaces to be buried in the floor so that they are assured it will be their home forever. Just like the pharaohs, they want to leave behind a system that their life is remembered and supported for eternity and connected to your faith in God, and for you to believe in their divine inspired power forever. A new belief system lacking in an infrastructure of personal power, influence, and income is what we need for the future with no more saint building. A simple belief that is hard to corrupt with the thoughts of man and evolves around the benefits to all living things instead of a chosen few men. A belief that when you die, you are proud of how you lived your life, cared and supported freeGOD's other creations. I apologize in advance that you need to sit through a 4-hour video book to learn about freeGOD, but at this point in my life, I'm not going to be able to do much more than that. So there are no books at Target, podcasts, or TikTok stars out there that can give you this information currently, but I hope for them to help bring forth the message in the future. Maybe those using social media could become the driving force of freeGOD, since we are not going to build physical temples or pay men to administer it. I hope that some champions of freeGOD are able to use their platform to not only spread the message, but back it up with the will of many, to show people this simple concept of creation and living a free life, and then begin to apply it to the world. Then, with the support of many believers, take on the most harmful of products and processes for the earth. We need enough followers to become a force that is able to affect real change, not by instantly banning products, but by showing their undeniable intentions of supporting alternatives, starting with clear messages to businesses that they need to change, or we will stop supporting them. We need to give companies time to change and find new solutions. We just need to start to work on many of the problems of harmful products and behaviors of bad leaders and businesses. I don't know if anyone will watch or read about freeGOD before I pass, but I hope this stays up available for people in the future that are looking for alternatives. Because, like me, Nothing that all these people say about religion makes sense to a clear-thinking individual, and I really think it's time for a real change. I can't help to think that the world, especially the USA, is on a tipping point. Either we're going to get a handle on the current trend of removing all social guardrails and retreat into anti-science evangelical society, or we end these belief systems and replace it with a belief of supporting life to exist forever on this planet, or at least till our sun turns into a red giant in 5 billion years. By then, I would hope that humans and supporting life forms of Earth have visited and populated many worlds. All we need to do now is plant the seed of a new belief and hope that it makes sense to others. Unfortunately, it will not happen overnight, and who knows if we have enough time to create real change in time to stop or at least slow down climate change. We know we can't reverse it, so the best we can hope for at this point is to stop or slow it down. This is why I feel so strongly about freeGOD as something happening at just the right time, almost like it was meant to happen and come out now. The current political turmoil in parts of the world right now could be the needed motivation to propel a belief system like this that would be ignored in more stable times. Can a fundamental change happen in time to stop this current takeover of our government institutions and put policies in place to combat climate change? The thing I see in MAGA is that there are too many factions looking to achieve competing goals in the USA. Billionaires looking for less regulation and more power, evangelicals looking for laws to force religious compliance, and those looking to take advantage of the chaos for financial gain or social likes. I see that for the first time in my life, we are seeing major challenges of established norms that will pave the way for the drastic changes we must make to bring forth a new government truly by the people, every single one of them. Ever since those men that dreamed up things like gerrymandering, we have slowly faded from a true democracy. This time, we're going to include everyone. Remember that our founding fathers did not let women vote or own land. We have heard of MAGA talk about going back to this and giving men the votes of their families, essentially taking the woman's vote away again. We need to stop this now. It only would take one election cycle to get things moving, and that starts with the hardest part: 60% minimum control of both houses of the USA. Once you have that, you can move rather quickly to begin the process of fundamental changes in our government. I see that if enough people were on the same page in time, they could be on their way as early as the next midterms. Once they have that control, they could, in a matter of just a few years, begin the transformation of the USA. It's time to throw away ideas like Project 2025 and replace it with Project A New World. The great thing to me is much of the world is already ahead of us in wanting to save the earth, and we will have no problems with the other great nations of the world, as they will be enthusiastic, valuable, and trusted partners. We could bring forth a government that could not even be possible without our technical advancements. Let's begin to use these new abilities to correct long-standing problems in government, policing, and so much more. Once we use our technology to shine a light on hidden and illegal behaviors, it hopefully will produce real change. In some cases, we may not have an honest and free press anymore, but that can open the door for more individuals taking on those roles without the political billionaire oversight. I see social platforms giving the voice and audience to individuals, and now through monetization, they can have the resources to become our next force of investigative journalism that we must have. A free, honest press is the only way we can monitor our political leaders. History has shown us that political corruption flourishes in darkness. In this changing world, we can no longer rely on the large media companies like we did in the past. The last few decades have shown those places have been taken over by those that wish to spread misinformation and propaganda. The one fact in life that I will never waver on is that the very first thing that everyone wants in life is to feel safe. Everything comes after that starting point. You must be alive in order to want food or shelter. If the world started falling apart right now, safety would be your number one goal. You want to live a life of nobody breaking into your home, car, or business. You want to be able to walk your neighborhood at night alone if you want, and not feel as if you're in danger. The various religions in the world did help control the animalistic nature of some men, by making them believe they will be punished in the afterlife for crimes they commit in life. In some ways, I feel like the fables that were told to early children became truths of adults in later civilizations. I believe in our new world that technology is one way to that safety. We already see how cameras bring truth to situations, and with that, we can hold those responsible. There will always be those that want the privacy laws that we currently have, but in our current world, just one person or few men can cause great harm to many or even millions. We must acknowledge the literal dark places and extreme violence men will go to, especially if they feel as if they are fighting for God. We just have to use everything that we can to look for those and limit their harm to us. How much do you think religion has played a role in many of the wars and attacks we have witnessed in our history, even including 9/11? We see the rules we apply in our courts that seem to benefit the guilty, while we try to claim it protects the innocent. I think that the more knowledge a judge or jury has of an individual, the better we can determine if they are guilty and the best way to correct the behavior. Someone is accused of rape and has a trial, but the defense is able to hide past convictions, past accusations, past reports spanning maybe years of behaviors. So the jury is asked to render its verdict while having a very limited vision of this person. The only thing they see is a cleaned-up illusion of the person the defense wants you to believe. I think in today's society that everything that a person puts out into the world should be available in determining their innocence, guilt, and punishment. I think a person that has a lifetime of social media showing them fishing, hobbies, family versus accounts filled with using gun intimidation, talk of violence towards others, or worse, should absolutely have their entire social media presence be considered in their judgment of a crime. We can see the difference between an accident or unintended event versus the intentional attraction to a lifetime of poor, illegal, and dangerous behaviors. I don't want to leave it to God to punish extremely violent people in this world. I think we should be able to protect ourselves from people that seem to have no problem using violence to get what they want in life. A quick thought to those that reject the notion of a God: what would it hurt to support freeGOD? I'm not asking for you to do anything different in your day-to-day life, but maybe think of what you can do to help the planet, for our future human and animal life. You're not waiting for anything or one to come save the earth and its people, so why not support something positive for those that plan on life living here forever? When those that want to save the world need support, even if you don't believe in freeGOD, I still would like to ask you to supporting such an effort. You know that the more that participate, especially in the beginning, the more that will feel comfortable with it. It's amazing how much FOMO can drive some individuals. This is not about you living or even going into space. It's not going to happen in your lifetime. It is just about us evolving to a more realist and knowledgeable state of mind with a new overall picture of the future of the human race, to move to a planned existence forever, instead of just waiting to be saved and be turned into a godlike entity. We no longer live for a fantasy afterlife that some dead king with a printing press wanted the world to believe in, be it for good or bad. We realize the dangers of just blind faith in the workings of the universe, and the potential danger to all of us. We witnessed a planet killer in our own solar system, practically on live TV, when Jupiter was hit in 1994. You would think that people would be more concerned about space and our abilities to work in it after that, but all I seen was a bunch of fantasy movies. So this is much more than me wanting the future humans to just play spaceman. I believe becoming a functional, partial space civilization is what will keep us safe in the long run, and the only way that humans might exist in 10,000 years or even 10 million years from now. There is no way, but maybe for some good luck, that will keep us safe in the long term if we don't evolve our minds to the next step. The next extinction event could begin to play out. And will we be ready in time with a proven, tested solution, or just a Hail Mary shot in the dark? It looks like I'm starting another book now, so I will end it here. I know I am very opinionated, but that is my role at this point. My life is over, and nothing I say here will benefit me in the slightest. I just wish to expose you to a different way of thinking about things that I don't think anyone else will. I'm not looking to debate these opinions, because we have seen that debating religious texts is futile. The only way is to show a different path, and let the person decide what works better for the life they wish to live. Some may choose to live in the emotional comfort of established religions, and there is no harm in that as long as we don't allow their beliefs to dictate how we want to live our lives. We can no longer use their beliefs to establish laws and form government around their particular faith. The worst thing I can imagine is telling someone that they can't do something because it's against your belief system. It is sad that someone would need to move from their homeland, family, or friends just because they don't hold the same beliefs or want to follow centuries-old traditions that they don't believe in any longer. Those type of things will not take us into the future, and we must find the courage to stand on our own 2 feet and take responsibility for our own lives. You are a free individual and able to accomplish anything you put your mind to. If you are born in a part of the world where this is not possible, maybe you could use your life to try and bring forth changes in your country and make a better life for those that come after you, that wish to live a life that you wish for yourself. Sometimes the best we can do is make a one step in a staircase for the rest of those to use in the future. This is my step, and I will never know if it will lead to someone building the next. But I feel good knowing that I at least exposed the beginnings of a path and have a place for you to put your foot down.